Alright, what's up, guys? I know I haven't made a video in a while, but I figured I'd go ahead and make a deck profile of the deck I ran at the Richmond, Virginia regionals on October 6th, I do believe. I started off first round playing against one of my friends and got a draw. I went XO up until round 7. I played against Tyree Tinsley round 7. He was playing wind-ups, and we had an issue and only got to play one game. And he opened up Magician, made a Heavy Storm, Double Factory Magician Shark, and I couldn't recover. Then round 8, I played against Garen Williams playing wind-ups, and he more pretty much just slow roll. He played the deck a whole lot more technical because, I had answers to his Shark Magician play. I had Needle Ceiling, which I side deck. I ended up going 6-2-1. I got 26th place, so I got my invite. It was top 32 got invite. But here we go with the deck. 2 Rabbit, the 3 Sabersaurs, 3 Tabazools, 2 Tour Guide Zang and Night Assailant, 2 Thunder King. I felt this deck, really helped me out. When I was on the bubble in round 9, if I lost, I was pretty much done. Thunder King put in so much work because the guy was playing like Chaos Stun, and his only way to win was to summon Chaos Sorcerer, and I just tributed Thunder King to stop it. Main deck, 2 Veiler. People say it's not that good this format. I think it's a little underestimated. Even if I'm not able to, use a Veiler on my opponent, I can still summon it and synchro with it. I main deck 1 Gores, of course. Some people don't play this card in this deck, but I actually don't even think I ever really used it, but it was always there. 1 Snowman Eater, 3 Forbidden Lance, 3 MST. I've found that in my playing this game, I always lose the back row, so I had the main deck 3 MST. That was just a personal preference, because I really didn't feel like losing to the back row. Then the Dark Hole, Heavy, Monster Born, Book of Moon, and Pot of Avarice. Then the traps, 2D Prison, 2 Bottomless, 2 Compulse, 2 Torrential, 2 Warning, and the Judgment. That's the main deck. It was exactly 40 cards. Normally when I run this deck, I run 42, but that was last format. This format, I didn't really know how to build the deck, but I decided to just pretty much build it the way that I thought would be good against the current meta. So with the Thunder Kings and Veiler, it kind of had an anti-meta approach, Compulse and Snowman Eater. But then, I had the Rabbit and stuff to pretty much stop everything else. But then here's the extra deck. Aztec Golem, Leviathan, Zenmaines, Leviair, 2 Logia, 2 Dolka, Maestroke, Papilloperative, Utopia, Gemnite Pearl, Roach, Catastor, and Fortress. I run the Catastor for, of course, I have the Veiler main deck. Like I said, if I wasn't able to use the Veiler on their monster, I could just summon it and synchro with it, because this deck runs like a lot of level 4s. I didn't run 2 Leviair because I thought, with the lack, I got the Tour Guide thing and Night Assailant, Snowman Eater, but I guess, I don't really run an abundance. Last format, you needed 2 Leviairs because you needed, you could make it really easy with like triple Tour Guide thing, and, but it was a little bit slower. I only regretted not having double Leviair once because, like turn 1, I summoned a Rabbit, activated effect, banished it, and then the next turn I drew the Tour Guide, but he bottomless my Leviair, or that my opponent got rid of stopped my Leviair. I think he warninged it, so I wasn't able. Next turn I drew Tour Guide and I wasn't able to go back into Rabbit because I only had the 1 Leviair. But next I'll go ahead and go into my side deck. Double Cyber Dragon. It was for the Geargia matchup because had the Fortress and extra deck. Geargia, Gravekeepers, Dark World, in case they deck Debbie. Because the only thing deck Debbie really hits is my Tour Guides, Snowman Eater, Effect Veiler, and Rabbit. But I really didn't want to be sitting there with vanillas the whole game, So 2 Cyber Dragons, 2 Puppet Plant. I figured, Gravekeepers would, be a deck that people would probably run because, it was like a surprise deck, and I think, outside of discarding, I played 1 Gravekeeper round 2, and he really wasn't that great. I Puppet Planted his Recruiter, and he flipped Gozen Match, and all I had on the field was Sangin and Night Assail, and I'm like, they're all darks, and he was like, oh, well, I thought you might overlay, and I was like, okay, well, swing with, Night Assailant. I swung with Sangin, and he deprisoned, and then I swung with his Recruiter, and then Darkhold main phase 2 and flip Shadow Mirror so his Recruiter wouldn't get to search. Double Nobleman. I mainly started this for Geargias and Gravekeepers, but I played against a Saber guy, I think round 3 or 4, and this card came in handy because, I Nobleman his Emerald Blade, Rabbit, and the Double Capital swung with both of them, and then Logia set 4. Double Prohibition for Dark World, and this card put a lot of work in against a WOP player I played. Game 1 I beat him, Game 2 he side in Prohibitions and stuff, so then he got the Hopper lock, so I really couldn't do anything. But Game 3 I Prohibitioned his Hopper, and then I Monster Reborn his Cobra, and kept getting under Messenger Piece. Soul Taker, against Heroes, Chaos Dragons. Round 1 I played against Chaos Dragons, my friend was running them. Game 1, he, I beat him. Game 2, we went into time, so he beat me, and we ended up having to take a draw. I side decked 3 Macrocosmos. I thought, with the increasing popularity of Insectors that are coming back, I thought 3 Macro was a must. And plus, I hate playing against Dark World. I have no problem beating them. It's just, if they get, their combos going, it's really hard to bounce back. So 3 Macro. Plus, it doesn't hurt my deck. 2 Shadow Mirror for Gravekeepers, Insectors. I don't think I sided this again against Chaos Dragons because it really doesn't do anything. And then this helps against Dark World. This plus Macro is pretty much a good game. And then 1 Needle Ceiling. I played against 2 windups, and it was back-to-back consecutive. I sided in against both, but I only saw it against my round 8 matchup. And he went Shark, Magician. He did the whole combo. He had Reaper on field, I had Cyber Dragon, he went Shark, and he had 5 monsters on the field, and I'm like, I flipped Needle Ceiling, and, he pretty much, he beat me, but, it really, I probably would have lost that turn had it not been for Needle Ceiling. But yeah, I played against, round 1 was Chaos Dragons, round 2 was the Gravekeepers, I think 3 was either Watts or X-Sabers. But I really only remember my 7, 8, and 9 matchup. 7 was Tyree Tinsley and windups. 8 was Garen Williams and windups. He was a bounty player. And then I played against Chaos Stun round 9. The guy showed up late. He was 3 minutes late, so I got the game win. Then he was like 5 seconds from getting the match loss, and he shows up at the table like after the clock had already ticked down. And I'm like, I call a judge over, and I'm like, yeah, he showed up late. And so I was like, I want to go by protocol. And the judge was like, technically I need to give you the match loss, talking to the guy. And I'm like, it doesn't matter to me. And the guy was like, come on, dude, don't do it like that. And I'm like, he was like, well, I'll go ahead and let y'all play it out. And I ended up just pretty much Thunder King locked the whole game. He couldn't do anything. I beat him in like 3 or 4 turns, didn't take any damage. So yeah, I went X2-1, 26th place out of I think 299 people. Got my invite. Was all I really worried about. It's just sad I didn't get to use either of my tokens. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. So yeah, this is my deck. I feel I could have done better. I think round 1 I could have won, but I'm not going to complain with the X2-1. So hopefully there'll be more videos to come.